Hi all, we're back here in the shop after a long layoff of lots of busy things going on. Even though this isn't really ham radio related, it kind of is, so I wanted to at least talk about what it is and why it can be useful in the shack. So for anyone who hasn't seen one of these before, this is called the Kilowatt. It's sold on Amazon, you can buy it from other distributors, and it's also in some areas available from Harbor Freight. But don't be fooled getting it from Harbor Freight. These things run about 25 to 30 bucks. They are a energy meter, and they mainly measure live volts to the circuit, amps, watts, also volt amps, hertz, the power factor, and kWh. So what you actually do, and I'll explain a little bit more about these, is you plug it into your wall here, and of course if your outlets are put in upside down, you might want to turn them because this thing is really annoying to read upside down. And of course once you're plugged in, you can plug your power supply or whatever other device that you're using. If it's your ham shack, you might have a power supply or something like that. Plug it in here, and then of course as you cycle through these, this gets power by being plugged into the wall. You can grab your kWh since it's been plugged in, and then of course if you leave this plugged in for 24 hours, it'll give you your total kWh load over that time period, and you can divide the number up and get more precise numbers. You can get the hertz of whatever is plugged in. Here in the shop, when you have a power supply, it's about 60 hertz. You can get the watts. And then also what's really interesting about this is you can get the amperage. Now this is especially cool because as you're keying up your radio, you can see the amperage that you're using under load or when you're just receiving. So when you're using digital modes, you'll see this fluctuate a lot. Anytime you really key up, you're going to see it fluctuate. The other really neat thing about this is in other parts of the house, you can look for shadow loads or things that are drawing power when they're not plugged in. So this thing is really handy. It doesn't have memory, so you're going to lose your kWh number once you unplug it. But it's a nice thing to kind of have around the shop, in the shack, and around the house, just in case you need it. They're built really well. They're cheap. They can give you some semblance of what your different products in your house are using, or in your ham shack or in your shop. And it's just kind of an overall cool thing to have around for random data points, measurements, and if you're troubleshooting something because it's using too much, or you maybe think it's not using enough energy, you can do that as well.